They've got the 1936A here, unstyled. It's just like any other of the unstyled tractors, but a lot of people are used to their electric start and don't know the quite best way to start these old hand starts. And I'm sure there's plenty of you out there that know a little bit better than I do, but I figured I'd put my 2 cents in out on the internet for some people that are just starting off in the antique tractor world or just curious. So best thing with these is, you got your compression petcocks here. Compression petcocks right here. That's closed there. You open them up on each side. And then when you go look at your carburetor in here, you got, so this is no choke when you got it flipped down. This is the wrong, I got a 53 carburetor on here. It should be an 18 and then it'd pass through, but that's your choke there. On the other side, it's the same with the petcocks, but going through, kind of depends on how you have your throttle all set up. I gotta adjust this because it's in there, so if I pull it back right now, it won't stop. So I gotta fix that. So all the way back on the throttle is just fine for me starting, but it's a colder day and some of these you don't even have to choke at all. This one I hardly have to, but and then you got your magneto, that's the key to starting these, is you don't have to sit there and fling it around and try to tear the flywheel off. You can just sit there slowly turning it over if you have your impulse set right on the magneto. And I have a couple of videos out on timing the mag and all to figure out the best way to get that, because if you turn it slow, that impulse is meant in there, so you can just barely turn it over, and once it gets past out the top dead center, it'll fire, and then it should start pretty easily from there. So in that point, we'll go ahead and start it up. So throttle, and if you rotate the flywheel counterclockwise is the way that this should run. You notice the flywheel get hard to turn there. That's the top of the compression where the impulse is trying to trip. That's what's going to help you aid in starting. And then once it fires or gets a little there, I like to take the choke off. If you can bring the flywheel around right before that point and then just snap it over center, that's what's going to help you start the best. Throttle up. Hold your petcocks on each side. Should be running good. And just because I didn't get a video of it shutting down here, like I was mentioning, so the throttle, you should have it set up so you can pull it all the way back, because you don't, like some people put the kill switches on the magnetos, but the best way to stop these is to kill the throttle, because otherwise you have gas pouring in yet, and that's all sitting in there, and you don't want fuel sitting in your cylinders that long. That's how you make a mess out of them and get rid of all the oil sitting on the walls that's keeping it from getting rusted up. So like I said, there's that stop screw right there, which I have to adjust so that I can pull the throttle back further and be able to kill it. But yeah, because right there it's open and it hits that, so if I walk that in, I can get the throttle a little bit further back. But you want it so that you can kill it there, but if that doesn't work, pull it back as far as it is. Like this one keeps running barely, so then I come up here and I manually close it more, because it's a spring in the governor. You can close that to push it there, or I choke it out. I like to try to do that more so then it just gets rid of the fuel even more, and I have less fuel sitting around in the combustion chamber. But that'd be about the best way to start it. Like I said, if you have one of the little kill switches on here, which these don't have the option for, but the white coals will, you basically ground it out and that'll keep it from sparking. But so I had the tractor running there, shut it off now, but you still don't know quite everything. It is helpful to know some of the controls on these. So you look at here, you got clutch on this side, which these are hand clutches, and they're over center type clutch, so you get that pop in there. This one's a little worn out. There's some dogs in there that wear, and then it's kind of hard to get it to adjust right. But so clutch is on the right side there, throttle as you saw, and then on these unstyled A's you got your gear shift here, which it's reverse, and then it's a high-low range. So this far lever up here, you have two levers pointing off to the right. The lower, smaller one that's all for your PTO. You engage it that way, disengage it that way, and then you have your high and your low range on the gears here. So you have reverse 1, 2. So you have one low and then one high, and then up and two low and then 2 high, which that's it's basically just 1, 2, 3, 4. Reverse, you only have the option for low on there. It'll kick the lever over. But with that, it's about all I need. Other than your brakes, they're differential brakes, so each brake is hooked up to one side of the differential in there. So stand on one side, you'll spin the tractor right around. These things are a little bit simple once you start understanding everything about them, and it translates into every tractor or every 2-cylinder out there. They're all just about the same. But yeah, taking care of it, basic things, and that's operation. But there's not much else to show you other than, you know, a lot of these. I actually, this one I don't shut off, but the fuel on there, if you look at that, the sediment bowl all the way to the right, you'll close it up, and then to the left, most people will shut these off as they go on there, or when they stop the tractor, so the fuel doesn't flow through. But I had that card rebuilt. I know that the needle's good in there, and then that bushing on there actually leaks, so I don't do that. But there's 2 tanks for starting on here, or 2. So you have your run tank, which used to be meant for old gasoline, so for actual gas was the starting. I mean, this tank back here, and then running on some kind of distillate or kerosene or other low-cost fuels is what John Deere called it. I can't remember exactly what it was. And you'd have to go in here and switch your fuel around, and the other tank isn't even plumbed in anymore. So, well, that's the gasoline. You just run that all in there anymore for putting around, because a lot of these people putt around, they're meant to work, and if you don't work them, you'll foul out your plugs, and then it's a whole mess with that. And your tractor will never run quite right if you're just doing parade work and things with it. They're meant to be out on the field working, so I lean them out as much as possible and just work them as much as you can. Otherwise, you're gonna have a heck of a time getting it to run fully right under load. Other than that, you can reach out with any questions about it. That was kind of all random, but just trying to put some information out there for you guys, and hope you like it.